Hey, everybody, it's Monday, time for another podcast episode. Hope you have had a good weekend and hope you have a good week coming up. So, on this episode, I have Sandy, who is the owner and driver. You may know this account as Blossom Trek. So, I was really excited to get her on here and talk to her about her build. And we kind of talk a little bit about her too. So that was really cool to not just hear about her car, but also hear about Sandy. Again, I want to thank everybody for supporting the podcast by listening to it and sharing it and sending in your comments. Also for your messages and everything. I really, really appreciate it, and it's been really, really awesome. All of the support that everybody has shown from the very beginning. So let's go ahead and get into those shout outs. Giving a shout out this week to Easy M8, Jamerson 9164, Kai Hannon, the PNW Foz, J Stizzy 20, 852 Outback, and Audiophile. Again, if I miss somebody, I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with everybody as best as I can. But thank you to all of those who have shared and commented and sent me a message. This from the very beginning. Thanks again. So let's go ahead and get into this episode with Sandy, owner and driver of Blossom Trek.
I am a understudy, they call me interested day. Hey! When you fail, I come in and I take it all away. Hey! Yeah, I am the one you hate, I am the one you
I was like, wow, that is mind blowing. I have a story as well.
Yeah, because you got to think too that somewhere out there somebody wants to hear your story the way you're wanting to hear theirs.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it's just it's just there's such a large community out there of drivers and Subaru owners, and it seemed like there was a place for it, and it was very well received, and people really seemed to enjoy it. So I'm glad that I did it, and I'm glad that I wasn't afraid to do it. And just
Definitely.
it's like one of those things. People say if there's something that you want to do, and especially if it's something that you're scared to do, then it's probably the right thing to do.
Definitely. And you obviously, I'm sure there was like some type of doubt, fear, but you jumped on it. And again, I mean, this is something that I enjoy. I personally enjoy. I've gone my husband and I'm like, you need to listen to it. And he's like, I know I am. I was like, okay, good.
Yeah.
And I was like, you need to share it. And he's like, okay, I'm sharing. And so again, I enjoy them. I enjoy podcasts, and again, this is something that is so fun to hear. It's exciting, and being able to just listen to their modifications and what they've done or their plans, and it's something that I'm just like, wow, it's just so exciting to hear, and then where they're from, and how Ninja Outback and then Ollie Crosstrek, they're like, we want to go to SoCal, and I was like, I live in SoCal, and I sometimes feel like, where do I go? What do I need to do? Like, again, I'm so new to this, Rafael. Like, I'm not someone who just created this and I know what I'm doing. I'm someone who's just learning, and I'm learning as I'm going. And
Yeah.
It's something new to me that I just, again, from modification, from like the parts to I'm married to a mechanic, so he's always so helpful. And when I first got actually into it, I was like, I don't want to, I'm kind of afraid of asking what this is, because some people have a like OEM, for instance. Like, I was like, what is OEM? And he's like, oh, that's original.
Equipment manufacturer.
What was it?
Nah. Original equipment manufacturer.
Yes. And so I was like, what is that? And he's like, you have to stop being afraid of asking people, because people who love their cars and are car enthusiasts, they're gonna love to explain to you what that is. Like, don't be afraid, because people want to talk about their cars. They want to talk about their builds.
Oh
They
my
want to
God,
talk about
yes.
what they're going to do. So don't be afraid. He's like, I'm one of them, and I love talking to you about like what's new and what's to come and what's, and I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. So now I'm like, what does that stand for? Like, what does that mean? And people are so nice to let me know, like, hey, okay, this is what that means. And so I just, instead of using my husband as a reference, like, hey, what does that mean? And he's like, just ask, like, tell them, like, what does it mean? And they'll, again, be so happy and, excited to tell you. But yeah, they've been, again, the community has been nothing but welcoming, and it's just, it's an awesome experience to go through. So
Yeah, because everybody was at some point was where you are or where I am,
yeah.
somebody new into the community, somebody who may not know a whole lot about cars, who may not know, a lot of mechanical things or terminology and
Hmm.
stuff. So, when you start talking to people and asking them questions, then they get excited because it's something that they learned and they want to share it with you, and they want to see, because they want to see you be successful in your build, and they want to see your build come
Hmm.
along, because if they help you, then they can say, oh, like, look, I helped her make the decision to do that, or I helped her to do
Hmm.
this, and now look where she is, and now her build looks awesome, and she's doing all these cool things because now she's not afraid to ask questions, and she's not afraid to
Right.
modify her car or whatever, so it's just
Exactly.
people are extremely helpful because they want to see your build come along, and they want you to be excited about it too, and they want to be
Hmm.
excited for you.
Hmm. Definitely. And I do, see that and receive that. So I can only give that back. I mean, everyone's been so, welcoming. And again, any person that is new, I just say, like, welcome, such a great community. And, or I'll repost, or I'll be able to, like all of their pictures. And that's what my husband was like, I cannot believe you're at many followers. And I was like, well, that's all I do. Is just like, if someone likes a picture or starts following me, I just go to their page, like all of their pictures, and just, give them a shout out. And that's it. It's just so welcoming to be able to do that. And honestly, I mean, everyone's so nice. So I'm like, and I want to see their build. I really want to see what they're gonna do, so it's
Yeah,
awesome to see that.
and it's good to engage with people too, because a lot of times, you
Hmm.
just like somebody's post, but I always try to engage with people, like comment on their
Hmm.
posts, and have not necessarily like a conversation, but it's just
Yeah.
my other page. I got into doing that, where I would really be involved and engage with people, and then you connect with people that way too. Instead of just liking
Hmm.
their post, you comment and get, kind of like comment conversation going sometimes, and then you kind of get
Yeah.
to know the person, and then you might end up
Hmm.
start, talking to the person. Then you might find out,
Hmm.
hey, I'm going to be somewhere you're going to be, so let's meet up or whatever. So you never know where
Yeah.
it's going to lead.
Yeah. That's true.
So where did the idea come from, to buy a Subaru, and then why a Crosstrek?
I got a Crosstrek not because I wanted to get a Crosstrek. It was because I totaled my car, my Honda Accord, while driving to work. I got into I rear-ended someone. So at the time, I just, I wasn't looking for anything to. I honestly, if it wasn't for that accident, I would have never probably gone to the dealership and gone a Crosstrek. But prior to that accident, I had my husband, and he decided to take all of us to a trip up to Big Bear. And at the time, he was driving a BRC, and I cannot believe that car made it all the way to the top. It actually started snowing on our way up there, and so he actually had to put the tire chains on the rear tires. And so I was just so happy that we were able to make it up there. And so we ended up having just, a trip and going up to Big Bear and, snowboarding. While snowboarding, there was just like the whole entire day it was snowing. And so by the time we came back to the car was just covered in snow. And I could not believe that we had driven this car up to the mountain, and now we were potentially, probably, we're not going to be able to get out of the mountain because of just how much snow there was. So my husband ended up, like, we're trying to dig up the snow, and so my what he ended up doing, he actually tried to get out of the snow, but what ended up happening was one of the chains ended up snapping and ended up getting caught underneath and ended up bending his e-brake cable bracket.
Oh,
And so we
yikes.
didn't even, yeah, so we didn't even know what was going on. So what he did, he got out of the car, and I was outside with him while the girls were inside the car. And so he couldn't figure out what it was. So he had to jack up the car. And so while doing that, I mean, there's snow and there's, like, water, and we're in an incline. So he goes underneath the car and he looks at what it is, and he tries to unhook it and tries to bend it back. And so he ends up getting out of the car. And so the moment he gets out of the underneath the car, like, the jack stand just gives up, and the
Oh
car
my
slams
gosh.
to the ground. And that was my moment of just, I need a bigger car for my family. There's
Yeah.
no way that I'm ever having to do this again. And so we end up coming back. I mean, thankfully, like I said, we were able to get out of the snow, and there was a gentleman who actually helped us out to kind of bring the tools that he needed just to fix the tire chain. But it was a horrible experience. And then coming back, I told my husband, like, I have to get a reliable car. I cannot ever experience what we just experienced, like this. Like, I can never go have and be stuck in the snow with my daughters, and up, especially when it's snowing, and we don't know what could have happened. But I need a reliable car. And so I just started getting into, what's a reliable car. And obviously if a BRC can make it up there, I figured Subarus make a reliable car, make a good, decent car. So I went on to Subaru website, and I was just like, okay, so what does all-wheel drive mean? And I know what exactly was all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. So I'm asking these questions to my husband, and he's like, well, you want to have all-wheel drive if you want to ever go back to the mountains. So I was like, okay, well, what about this car? So I started showing him pictures, and sure enough, I came across a Crosstrek, and I was like, this is what I want. But again, I had my Honda Accord. I wasn't planning to ever go into the dealership anytime soon. So I think it was that same week that I had my accident that actually made me have to go to the dealership and find this Crosstrek. And it wasn't something that I was just, like, determined to do so. I was just like, you know what? All I need is just some safety car, and, even dark, interior, because I have kids, and, kids can drop things and dirty it. So I went to the dealership. I found this one Crosstrek on the website, and I didn't have my hopes up. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go look at it. I'm not going to do anything. And so we end up going, and the car was just beyond my expectations. It had all the whistles. Like, it just had the leather seats. It had the eyesight. It had the sunroof. It just had everything. And I was just like, okay, well, I want to see if I can potentially buy it. So I went and talked to the dealership. I talked to the salesperson, and so he was like, yeah, the person who originally got it, he didn't wanted it because he actually exchanged it for something more with power, more like, I think he got an STI. So he was like, he want the Crosstrek. So I was like, I want it. I want it.
Yeah,
I
it's
want it, and
mine.
I want it. So we took it for a test drive. I loved it. the moment that I got in there, I was just like, oh,
This
this
is
is
my car.
such a beautiful car. Yes. And this was back in 2016. So
Wow, is
this
that
was
long
what, five
ago,
years
huh?
ago.
Wow.
What was that?
I said it was that long
Yeah.
ago, huh?
Yeah. It was that long. 2016.
So when you bought it, like, did you? I guess you know, being that you weren't really looking for a car specifically. I mean, you knew you needed to get a car, but you weren't really sure that you were actually going to get one. You were just kind of looking.
Hmm.
Did you have like a color in mind when you bought one, or did it not really matter so much?
I loved silver. I've always loved silver. And so this car, it had, I obviously saw it and I was just like, okay, it's silver. Like, what else? You know, it really didn't matter anymore what else was inside.
It was
Because it
silver,
was
and
silver,
that
I
was
was just
enough.
like, yeah, I was just like sold. You know, it's silver. Let's just go look at it because you know I have three favorite colors, and that's gray, black, and pink. And I was just like, you know what, it's silver. I like it. And so that's actually one of the reasons why we went to see it because it was just silver, and I was just like sold on that color. I wasn't looking for any other color. I've always liked gray, so but you know, obviously the color is silver. So
Yeah. So, so since you've had it for 5 years, have you always had like the decals on it, or when did that
no,
happen?
I actually got the decals on was it last year? Last year, um, I didn't start modifying my car up until last year in like March. Yeah, I waited until I paid off the car to be able to add like anything to it.
Yeah.
So kudos to those who that are doing their modifications because and they're still doing payments or they're leasing it because I personally couldn't do it. I mean, I have two daughters and I knew my responsibilities and I couldn't. So yeah, I waited 5 years or 4 years to finally modify it.
So is that something that you were wanting to do all along? I mean, when you first bought it, did you think, "Hey, I want to do some mods on this car. I want to put some decals on it," or was it something that after you owned it for a while, you started seeing other things? Like where did the inspiration to do mods for it come from in the first place?
When I first got the car, I did see how a lot of Subaru drivers they changed their Subaru emblem, and that's the only modification that I ever wanted to do. That was it. That was just my little Subaru emblem, and that was it. I was just like, I wanted a pink one, and so I actually reached out to Orsini Vinyl Designs, and she actually did a pink one with like palm trees because I figured I
Hmm.
was like, I live in LA,
Yeah.
so I that was my first modification, and I got those. I think like maybe 2 years prior to me owning the car, me having the car. So I still even waited for those.
Yeah.
But then the rest came after. Like I said, that came last year. Actually, during the whole like quarantine and having to stay home, I needed something to like preoccupy myself as well as to be able to just like do something different. And that's when I decided to do the cherry blossoms on the side. But the first thing that actually my husband was so sweet for Valentine's Day, he got me the vinyl wrap, the hood wrap that I have.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, if that was just like a big decal or paint or how that was done. So,
No, that's a vinyl wrap,
okay,
and he actually got that for me on Valentine's Day,
that's nice.
and of 2020. So yeah, so that started there, and then after that, I've always had though. I have to say, I've always wanted cherry blossoms on the side of the car, but I just didn't know how and who was going to do that, and um, thankfully my husband has like a lot of connections with a lot of people that have done his vinyl, his decals. And so one of his friends, he actually did the decal or the decals on the side, which are the cherry blossoms. But it took a while because he kept, I kept on having to like, he'll send me some mock-ups, and I would say like, no, I want this type of pink. There's a certain pink that I want. And so he'll go back and forth with me. So that took a while, but it all started with the vinyl wrap in the hood, and then it just kind of like started spreading onto the sides. So
So being that you have the blossoms on the side, that's where the name came from.
yeah. Yeah.
And is it Blossom Trek or Blossom X Trek? I mean, how do you say it?
No, it's Blossom Trek.
Okay.
Blossom Trek. Yeah, Blossom Trek.
Okay. I was just curious because
My husband liked the sound of Blossom Cross Trek, but I liked Blossom Trek. Like I thought that was like I had a better ring to it.
yeah,
And I know in my bio on Instagram it actually has the Blossom Cross Trek, but I just
yeah,
figured, I like Blossom Trek, not Blossom Cross Trek. So I was like, I'll just put it in there so he thinks that like I listened and I listened for his opinion, and I'll just throw it in there.
yeah. So, so what was so you did the mod or the emblem overlays, and then you did the hood. So what
Hmm.
was it that came next after that?
Oh
The
man,
side ones?
no, the for the cherry blossoms, you mean?
Yeah. Or I guess any additions to your car, because you said that you got the hood wrapped. So did the
Yeah.
cherry blossoms on the side come next?
No, I actually did the plastic dip, the grill and the badges. I actually did them like a matte black.
Yeah, I want to do that too.
And then yeah, those the back ones were like a little bit I had to use a toothpick just to get onto like the inside of them.
Yeah,
But it was some people just take them off. I didn't want to take them off. I just kind of just like taped around, and then I just end up like using a toothpick just to get in like the edges.
yeah. So would you
Hmm.
like when you are thinking about what you wanted to do to your car because you said you wanted to do stuff to it, but you wanted to wait until you got it paid off? Was the
Hmm.
getting the cherry blossoms, was that like the main thing that you wanted to do? I mean, because I know you said you wanted to do the emblem overlays, and
Hmm.
like that's all I want to do to my car. But like once you decided that you what we're gonna do more, was the blossoms, were those like the kind of the big thing that you wanted to add to it?
Yes, that and my I actually wanted to, and I still want to, add the front and rear fabrication bumpers. I think
Oh
those
yeah,
look so good, and I think honestly, if you're going off roading, it's better than having to have your plastic bumper and then potentially damaging the rest of your hood or the rear. So um, yeah, those actually were my first things that I wanted to like get something bigger, obviously, but
yeah,
I've yet to get them.
yeah. Um, do you have skid plates on it?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
And
They'll come
you don't
eventually.
have a skid plate?
No, I will eventually, but not yet.
Yeah, I don't have a skid plate. But my husband did mention to me that maybe this Valentine's Day I'll be receiving a skid plate. I don't know. I feel like now anniversaries, birthdays, and holidays. Like I feel like he's now gifting me, not really me, but the car that I'm driving. Some parts that I want. So
Yeah.
that's really, really amazing and sweet of him. So I appreciate it.
Well, you could do like Dakota, who owns the Off Kilter Racing, and just find a pedestrian sign somewhere and put it under there. That was so funny when he told me that. That was hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So what is your what would you say your favorite mod is so far?
Oh man, I have three. I have the spider no drill roof rack.
Yes.
That's definitely one that I love. I love just everything about it. Just the design, the low profile, how it looks, and how it makes the car looks.
Yes.
It's amazing. I love it. Then I have my wheels and tires. Those I think it was Rooted Progress. The Rooted Progress actually got the whole theme of my car, the last trail run that we did.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at it and he was like, "Were you trying to do like a flower type of thing, like, because the wheels do kind of look like a flower?" So I was like, "Yes." I was like, the moment I saw those on F44 off road, I was just like, I want these. I want them. And so he got the whole theme. Like he was like, I see what you're doing. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly why I got them. Just so that way it kind of all blends in and it's just like a flower and then cherry blossoms, and I don't know, it just all kind of made sense. So I also have the Nameless. I actually just got that recently. The Nameless, what is it called?
Nameless
The
Performance.
axle back exhaust.
Yeah.
That one.
Nice.
Yes. I get the Subie Rumble, which is something that I'm like so excited, so happy, and I love it. I love the sound. And then I also did get the muffler delete, though, so because I think it gives you the option to do a muffler delete or do a like a 5-inch or something.
Yeah.
But I just decided to do a muffler delete, and I love it. It's not as loud as I thought it would be. Thankfully, I have really, really good neighbors that don't mind, and
Yeah.
so I'm happy, and I love it. I love. So those are my 3 mods that I really, really love, and it makes just the car just look so good. So
Yeah, your car does look awesome.
oh, thank
I
you,
like seeing it.
thank you.
So, do you have a lift also?
I do, I
Okay.
do. I have a
Oh,
2-inch lift.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, it looks nice. And
Mm-hmm.
so with those wheels, do you think you would ever paint the wheels pink?
Yes, I actually been debating. I actually long time ago, well, not long time ago. Last year, I plasti dipped my Hella Horns rose gold, and I was trying
Oh,
to just
nice.
kind of play with the colors that I had. I had a gold one, and then I had like this powder. It's actually I think it's like a makeup powder, and I actually got this. It's like a DIY
Uh-huh.
on Pinterest. Someone created this whole thing, and I was just so excited to try it for myself. So I went on and I got the gold and the powder, and I created this rose gold. I'm not sure whether I still want to do the rose gold for them or just completely do like an actual pink, like a hot pink. But yeah, I've been thinking of doing that. I'm not sure when, but I do. I would love to do those things to it. So
Yeah, because there's some different shades of pink too, with like on
yes,
your hood. So I think if you were to
yeah,
match, I don't know. I think maybe something a little bit on the maybe in between the darker and the lighter
yeah,
color or something. I think that would
yes.
look good. But
It's definitely some time consuming. I have mentioned it before I actually got my wheels. I had originally asked my husband if I can just paint my wheel from my stock tire, from a stock wheel. So but he was like, no, it's just this, because actually what I wanted to do was just tape some of the part. I think it was the gray part that I wanted to tape off, and actually color and paint the black pink. But he was like, well, there's just so much work to it that you have to clean up the wheels correctly, and you have to tape around, and there's so much that he was like, you want to do it, we can do it, but it's just so time consuming.
yeah,
And so she was like, oh, I don't know if I do have that time. So I was like, you know what, never mind. So we
yeah.
never did do that.
um, what mods do you still want to get besides the bumpers,
I want the tent.
the rooftop
Uh,
tent?
sus- yeah, the
Oh
roof
gosh,
tent.
yeah,
So
that's my
whenever we go
dream.
camping,
Yeah.
um, the suspension, I actually wanted to upgrade the suspension for it. Um, then I also would like a light bar. So the the roof rack that I have, actually, Tiger was kind enough to give us another bracket, so we were able, so that way whenever we do get the light bar, we can actually just install it, and it fit perfect.
Oh, that's good.
um, yeah. Then a transmission cooler, actually, that mod should have been one of the first things that I should have gotten, but I've yet to do.
Yeah.
um,
All in good time.
and then, yeah, and then maybe an intake. I don't know, for just like a little bit more power
Mm-hmm.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
there's a couple things. I mean, I don't think I want to do so much and, do crazy things to it, but it, you know, some things here and there.
Yeah. Are there any mods or anything that you put on your car, like decals or anything else that you put on there that you ended up not being happy with and then took it off?
It wasn't because I was not happy. It was because I actually started with the cherry blossom idea to make make cherry blossoms, and do more of a, just a one theme. But the emblems that I had originally gotten, they were pink, and like I said, they had palm trees. So I took those off, and I just ordered new ones. But they're black and silver, like carbon fiber, just so that way
Oh,
it kind of
nice.
contrasts like with the car, and it's not
Yeah.
just like, different pinks. Um, but that was it. That was the only one.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good. So on your Instagram page it says fam Softroad Nation. What is
Hmm.
how'd you get involved with that, and what is, I guess, what's the deal with are you like a part of Softroad Nation?
Yeah. So during Subie Fest, they were actually doing a giveaway. I think it was their like 500 giveaway, and I just so happened to win. I was at Subie Fest, and right after right after we were all done, my husband was just like, "Do you have anywhere else to go? Do you have any contacts? Do you know what people are doing after?" And, I'm new to all this. So I was like, no, I don't have anyone's contact. I don't know what they're doing, but let me check my Instagram page and see if like anyone has posted anything, and see if like people are going out to a trail run or going out to, hang out. So I went on, I kind of like went into a parking, and I went on to my Instagram, and sure enough, I had like a notification saying like, "Hey, you've won our 500 followers giveaway. Like, are you still at Subie Fest?" And I
Yes,
was
I
just like,
am.
"Yes." I'm like around the corner. I'm like, "Where are you guys?" And so they DM me, and they were like, "Yeah, we're like right across the street from the place." And I was like, "Okay, I'll be there." And so my husband was like, "Well, what did you win?" I was like, "I don't know what I won." I was like, "I'm just excited. I'm
Yeah.
excited to go and see and find out." Um, and they're so nice. I remember Joe got out of the car, and he comes out, and he gives me like this big box, and I was like, "Oh, like." I'm excited what this is, and I was like, cool. Like they gave me a Soft Row Nation shirt, um, and so I was like, so I talked to Joe, and I was like, "Where are you guys heading?" And he's like, "Oh, we're heading out to get some food." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll yeah, for sure. Like, I'll follow you guys." So I end up like, I was with my family, so I had the girls, I had my husband, so like we end up going. We were just all tailgating and just like having to go to this place, and I end up losing them because I hit a red light. And I
Oh
was like,
no.
I don't know where I'm going. Actually, there was a guy there who like pulled next to me, and he's like, "Where are you guys going?" And I was like, "I don't know, but I'm following them." And so he's like, "Okay." And I was like, "Well, you're more welcome to join." He's like, "Okay." So he comes, and he's like right behind me. So then I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. So I'm telling my husband, like, Google this place, because those, they kind of gave me the place address, well, not address, but the name of it. And so I was like, can you just Google and see like where are we going? Because I'm like, now I have someone following me and I don't even know where I'm going. So then we end up like actually catching up to them, and then, you know, being able to just like, we were waiting for a table. While we were waiting, we were just talking, and I didn't know who they were. Honestly, again, all this was so new to me. They asked me like, oh, who are you rolling with? And, you know, who are you with? And I was just like, by myself. I was like, I don't have
Nobody?
anybody. Like, I'm not in no crew. I'm not in like, you know, I just, you know, this is all new to me. So we end up sitting and, you know, eating, and during the table, I just started to like get to know all of them, and, you know, asking questions and like what they were planning to do with their cars. And, you know, I think most of them had like Foresters, and this was, I was just like, you know, astonished of all of the mods that they had done. And so they asked me like, so, you know, what are your plans for it? And I was like, honestly, I was like, I just got into all this, and all I want to do is go around and pick up trash, and, you know, do like pick up, like just do like a community, like where you can go and just like pick up trash if there's any communities that need that, you know. So they were just like, oh, you know, like, that's awesome, that's, you know, that's so cool. And I was just like, yeah, like, that's the only the only thing I'm into right now is just having to do like cleanups. And so and yeah, after that, I was just like, you know, we had a good time. We just, you know, conversed, and we had, you know, we ate our dinner, and we went on our ways. And I think it was like 2 days later that reached out to me, and actually it was Joe, who reached out to me, and he was like, hey, I just want to ask if you are willing to be part of Softroad Nation. And I was like, you know,
Yeah.
he was like, you know, we would technically help you with your cleanups, and, you know, you would, you know, be part of, you know, this, just having to come with us and, you know, be able to help us. And I was like, really? Like, really? That's all it is? And he's like, yeah, like, you know. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, can I have like, you know, time to think about it? Like, let me, you know, bring it up to my husband and see what he says. And so he's like, yeah, of course. Like, you know, but it wasn't even like days. It was just like maybe 30 minutes later that I was like, yes. I was like, that'd be awesome.
Yes,
I
let's
would
do
love
it.
to do that, and, you know, do cleanups and have you guys help me with those, and, you know, be able to do something great for the community. And he's like, awesome. And so, yeah, that was just how I met them and how I came by, and they were able to welcome me so, you know, with open arms, and say like, hey, we want to help you with your cleanup. So
Yeah, and it's nice too when you come across something that was unexpected. You know, you were there by yourself. You
yeah,
weren't like with a crew or
yeah,
anything, and you just happened to enter the contest and win, and then, you know, became a part of
mm-hmm.
that and have somebody to help you do something that you're passionate about. So it's really cool the way things
Yeah.
come together like that.
That was definitely unexpected. Like I said, I mean, I have I had no expectations whatsoever for me to win, and then be on, you know, such an amazing group that, again, they're very helpful, and they help me, and we help one another, and we, you know, we stay in contact. And yeah, they were just so welcoming, and, you know, they got to meet my family. And I've been, you know, in trail runs with them, as well as like some like chill events. And they just, again, down to earth. John, who's overlanding RT, he actually is a veteran. So is Chris. He is SK.
Yeah,
His name
his
is
is
SK.
SK9 Forrester Whitaker, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That his whole Instagram. I'm like, what is? When you said it last time, I was just like, his name is so long, and I'm like, I didn't even know that's exactly how you pronounce it. So I'm like, but they've just been so welcoming, and, again, just amazing, amazing guys. And, you know, I'm grateful to be able to have such a support, especially when it comes down to, you know, having to do cleanups. And it's just me. I had showed them some pictures that I had done and like where I live, and where I live, it's not the greatest, community, but I tell them, like, honestly, it's just, I think it's like a domino effect. If someone sees you doing something great for it, I think people start like learning and doing them because they want to better the community. So I had showed them some pictures of what I had done around here. And so I just, for them to be on board on that, I was just like, wow, that's something that I was just so astonished by. So,
Yeah, it sounds like a really great group to be a part of. And I'm sure if you're, so are you driving around in your car doing the pickups and stuff, getting trash?
yeah. So just, actually, I have a trailer that my husband had created for his BRC. And he actually now, like, he gave it to me. So, I told him I want to do like trash cans, to put on them and just go around. But originally, I would just like drag my trash can around wherever it needs to be dragged.
Yeah.
Me walking, not really driving to it. So yeah, that's so far like my plans. And I know with COVID, that obviously had to be, put at a pause for the time being. But now that everything is somewhat going back to normal, I can start doing, because at the time I had reached out to the city of LA, and I had mentioned to them that I wanted to do a cleanup, and if it's possible, if I can do it in certain locations, because I just don't want for them to come or fine us because we're not meeting the requirements, or especially with COVID. So
Yeah. No,
I
it's
know that had to be,
kind of legalized in a way and permission and
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool that you're wanting to do that and, go around your community and help clean it up and, just make it a better place. So, and you're right that when people see you doing good things and it makes them want to do good deeds too.
Yeah, definitely.
And I can imagine that driving your car around, you get a lot of looks with all of the, the blossoms on it and the hood and everything.
Hmm. I do. And I love, what I love seeing the little kids' faces. I've driven so many times past like little kids where, um, they're pointing and I'm like smiling because like they're pointing at like the flowers and the color. And so
Yeah.
just like to see that, I'm like, wow, like, it's bringing joy to a little kid who is, again, just seeing like the flowers and the color. And, to me, I'm like, I'm all for that.
Yeah. And it's so it's not it seems crazy in a way, but it's also just absolutely amazing how a car can bring so much joy into your life and not just something that you enjoy yourself, but it can bring joy to other people and get you connected with so many people too. It's like you just bought a car, but look what's happening with it. You said that having your car or buying your car or whatever, or I guess maybe it was maybe during COVID, doing the stuff
Hmm.
to your car that you were kind of, I guess, not doing well, and so you know having your car really helped you out. I didn't know if you
Yeah.
wanted to talk about that at all, but um,
Yeah, definitely. So on last year, 2020, actually lost my mom on June 20th,
oh,
and due to COVID.
oh
And
no,
so, that was her being sick. And at the time, actually, you know, she had gone sick like 3 weeks before. Um, and she was at home. Actually, it was her, my dad, and my brother. And they were all sick. And so, we just, even for Mother's Day, we couldn't see her. I couldn't see her. And so what we ended up doing was just like taking some flowers to the house, and, leaving them on the front door. And, just being able to tell her, like, it's, we're here if you need anything. So, um, through that time, I honestly did not want to, you know, allow the just everything that was going around the world, especially, and then, personally with my mom, to overtake, my joy, as well as like, for my daughters as well. I mean, they saw what, what my mom went through. And so, um, I, she was sick, and then she ended up actually having a hard time to breathe. And so that's when like the ambulance came, picked her up, and took her to the hospital. And unfortunately, like just the hospital experience was just horrible. And
Yeah.
going through that was just it was bad. But with all that, I just needed to kind of distract myself and do something that, again, not only brought joy to me, but to others. And during that time, I was still being cautious, and I was still going and picking up trash. And um, I just couldn't, like, I didn't want it for this to bring me down. And again, my mom wouldn't have want me to actually be down and not live life to its fullest. So I started little by little. Like I said, I started like just doing things here and there. On my wedding anniversary, which is June 21st, my husband had actually made plans to install my 2-inch lift kit on my car.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one day after my mom's passing. And
Oh.
I didn't know whether I should or not. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if, my mom wants me to like be able to just take a moment. And I had to put that at pause, and I just told my husband, like, I appreciate it, but we're gonna have to delay the day that we install this, because I just can't, like, right now. And so I had to be there for my family as well. So during all this, just there's so much going on, like I said, and this was definitely a way to be able to continue on and hold on to something that, again, was just, it's just a car. And I understand that it's just a car. And but just like the fact that I was able to distract myself and be able to do things that didn't drag me back to I guess reality, that was, with all that was going on in the world, as well as in my personal life. So yeah, that was something that you know hold me, and just was able to distract me and be able to create something that, again, at the time, I didn't know I was creating something that was just that was going to lead me to something like joining Softroad Nation and them helping me with my cleanups. And I didn't know any of that, but all I knew was just like I didn't want all of the stuff that was going around to overcome me. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of other people who said that their cars, having their cars help them, pull them out of a dark place. And
Yeah.
it's just, owning the car and doing things with it's just something very different that other people wouldn't really understand. Like I was actually thinking today, I was sitting in a red light, and because I just a couple of nights ago, I put on, I follow Adventure Dad Wagon, and he sells the Dad Wagon decals, and
Yeah.
so I bought one and I put it on like the kind of the corner of my front bumper. And so now I'm driving around with this white car with this big, black decal that says Dad Wagon on it. And I was sitting there thinking how most of my life I've there's things that I wanted to do. Like you'd see people with, you know, um, a mohawk, or, like different colored hair, or wearing, clothes that are not typical. And so I've always been like attracted to things that are different, but I've always been like afraid to do anything different. And so it's like owning this car for me for the first time in my life. I'm actually doing something different and being different and enjoying it and like expressing it. I think that like that's been kind of like for my whole life, is afraid to express myself, afraid to, because I was always like thinking, okay, if I do something drastic, if I wear something different, totally different, or I do something totally different with my hair, then I'm going to like worry about what other people are going to think. And so but like now with this car, and I think it's I know it's being part of this community and knowing that other people are doing it and stuff. But
Hmm.
for me now, it's like I'm expressing myself in ways that I've always been afraid to. And it's like this car is allowing me to do that. And I'm not
Yeah.
afraid to do it. I'm not afraid. I even asked my son yesterday, I said, "So are you embarrassed to be driving around with this big dad wagon, decal on the front?" And he's like, "No."
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
he's really good about it and everything. So I
Yeah.
think that's super cool that he's not embarrassed. And he's a goofy kid, and I love that about him. Um,
Hmm.
so it's just I really really enjoy having this car, because it's done things for me. It's kind of helped me come out of my shell some, and not
Yeah.
be afraid to express myself and be a little different.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I mean, I have my two daughters, and they see me, and they see like the little excitement when I, turn on the car, or where we're like driving somewhere. I'm always trying to just be like, okay, well, let's drive my car. I don't want to drive dad's car. I want to drive my car. Let's
Yeah.
get in my car. And yeah, they see it, and they've actually seen some of the people that I do get those reactions that they give me thumbs up, and I'm like, yeah, like, and then like they look at me and they're like, Mom, see, you saw that, like they liked your car. And I was like, I know. I was like, that is so cool. And so yeah, I mean, the girls see that, and I'm honestly, I'm grateful that they saw me going through a hard time, but they also saw me being strong, and not allowing that to overcome, and take my joy, or take anything. Because again, I feel like, honestly, my mom would be like, what are you doing, Sandra? That's not you, and I didn't teach you that, and you need to continue on. And my mom had lost a relatives and family members, and that never consumed her. So I was just like, no, I can't. That my mom would be like, I didn't raise you, to allow certain things to overcome. And then again, to me, I just feel like, some seasons are longer than others, and some seasons are, obviously more tragic than others, but seasons are only, they are to last, temporary, not forever. So I knew for sure that this was a season that I just, it was a lot, you know, and again, from like the girls staying in school, me managing work, my husband, he works at a grocery store, so his time was always being limited for us. He was actually being pulled, and he always had to be at work. And so during COVID, it was just so hard being able to do all that I was doing. And um, again, the support, and the community, I was just like, wow, there's just so many people out there. And I have no doubt that they're going through something, and maybe this is their way of being able to kind of get away from like their seasons, and having to just focus on something that looks so good, and it sounds so good, and it drives so good, and and it can drive you places that you want to just kind of go and just have a moment and time alone, because nature is just so beautiful. So I just feel like, definitely, like, this car has taken me to places that I'm so, like, always astonished by it. So
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful thing, and it's nice to see other people who enjoy their cars so much, and we all want to share our stories, and we all want to connect, and we all
mm-hmm.
want to talk about it and everything. So it's it's cool to see that other people can express themselves the way that we want to. And so are there other accounts that you follow that have kind of inspired you to do some of the things you've done with your
Yes.
car?
Yes, I actually follow 4x4 Subie. I know you actually talked about him last time, and his car is just one that oh, I'm so I'm so jelly about it. I'm like, he has like all the modifications on his car that I'm like, oh, I wish I one day have. Like,
Yeah.
his stuff is just so awesome. Latest 23, he actually is local, and his bumper too, like his headlight and his hood, and just oh man, he's one too that also like goes on trail runs. And um, the red Crosstrek.
Yeah.
She actually, when I first created the account, I just went and did Crosstrek, hashtag Crosstreks, and her was one of the, actually her video was one that I actually looked at, and I was like, oh my gosh, like she's going off of, on a trail run, and like she's like kind of like flipping over, and she's doing like a 3-wheel, and I was just like, I want to do that. And she makes it look so easy and so cool, and just like, just so confident, and I was just like, oh, I want to be there.
That's that's so
And
funny
then,
that you say that because
yeah.
this morning when I was taking pictures of my car this morning, what I posted, there were these ditches, and I'm looking at these ditches thinking, can I get this thing on 3 wheels because I want to do that too. But I didn't try it because they were pretty steep and I was alone. I'm like, I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't do that.
And I saw you did, I think, a wheel over what was
Over
it,
the curb.
the curve, yes.
Yeah, because I've seen people do that, and I'm like, okay, I guess I should probably do that while I'm out here this morning. Because
Yeah.
I wanted to take some time for myself because I knew I was going to have a stressful day. And so I'm like, I need to I dropped my son off at school. And so I was like, I want to take this time that I have right now before I actually have to get to work to just go do something for me and go take some pictures of my car. It's not like Wheel Wednesday or Tushy Tuesday or Front End Friday, but I'm like, I just want to do something and just take some random pictures and just enjoy this moment that I have. And so that's what I did.
Yeah. I know. I saw that today, and I was just like, oh, he did that. I was like, I need to do that now. I mean, and like you said, I think a lot of people have that picture. So I was like, I need to get on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sometimes lag on like taking pictures, and it's so hard with having to, I have my 2 daughters. One is in middle school, and the other one's like in elementary, exiting elementary. So I want to keep them as busy as possible, as well as like continue on just, being able to, be there for them, because, my kids are growing so fast. So,
Yeah, my daughter's a junior in college, so I know what that's like.
yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to enjoy every moment with them, and I've taken them to trail runs, and they love it. They the last video that I posted, it was actually my youngest holding my iPhone and getting, holding it for like 7 minutes. I didn't realize that she was holding it for that long, and she did such a good job that I was like, oh
Oh, that's
wow, like,
good.
like, honey, you didn't have to do it for that long. She's like, but mom, it was just such a cool thing to do, like. And I was like, okay, cool. So
Yeah, that's
just to be,
cool.
yeah, just to be able to see, like, their expression, and having them to enjoy as much as I'm enjoying it, and then also getting out there, and taking them outside for fresh air, and being around the mountains. And man, there's so many places that I didn't think or didn't even know they existed up until now, that I
Yeah.
was just like, wow, so.
Do you have a favorite trail run that you've done?
Yes, the last one we did,
Okay.
it was a 22-mile, and it
Oh,
was
nice.
the, what is it? I think it's called like 1N9 or something like that. It's near Big Bear. It's like right before you actually start going up to the mountain.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just an amazing trail run. I actually want to do it again soon, because now that it has snow, and at the time there was like a little bit of puddles, because it really doesn't, it hardly snows up there now because of just the weather. But I want to go back again and see if like there's more mud puddles, so I can actually get in there and
Yeah, that would be fun.
get the front end hole dirty. So.
Yeah. Do you have like a bucket list trail run that you'd want to do or place that you'd want to visit and explore?
Yes, I would love to go to Oregon. Um,
Yeah,
I
Oregon's
just there,
beautiful.
it looks so beautiful. Actually, we had plans to do South Dakota, um, to see the Mountain Rushmore. Um, Actually, I mean, those are still things that we would love to do as, family. And then again, camping is definitely one thing we love and enjoy doing. So so far, those are the two places that I would definitely, love to go.
So with this, the mud and the off-road trails and snow, what's your favorite to drive through or over?
Uh, the mud for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the mud terrain tires and the
Oh, nice.
KM3 tires, so I feel like they're meant for that. Well,
Yeah.
hence in the name mud terrain. And they're just they're perfect, and I love just everything about it. So that's why I say, like, this time around I have to go back up there just so that way I can get in the muddy and just be able to do what some of the people I followed see them do, and I'm like, wow, like they're just, it's crazy. It's so much. It looks so much fun, and like Crazy Tone 87. He actually does, like, he's done so many videos, and like I think it's like a desert, and it's not far from here either, where I live. So I'm like, I'm not so familiar with any of the places, again, because I'm new. I don't even know where these locations are, and sometimes, like, when he actually went to the, like, desert, I was like, where did you go? And he's like, yeah, he's like, here's the address, and you should come, and you should do this. And I was like, I should do that. I was like, why am I not doing that? Like, and he doesn't have a cross track. He has, actually, I think, an STI. So I'm like, look at him. He's just like going and doing what potentially my car is meant to do. And so I'm like, I'm kind of jealous there. So yeah, I definitely got to get out there more often.
So who is it that you're going out and doing these trail runs with? Because I know you said that you get out with the Softroad Nation people, but are
Hmm.
you getting? How did you start meeting up with other people too, or have you met up with
Uh,
any?
yeah, well, they actually, we've done two trail runs, and we've done one chill event, and that's where most of the people come out, and most of these actually follow, the people that I follow, they come out, and it's so nice to see them in person. And it's so funny how when I do go, they refer me as Blossom Trek, like, are you Blossom Trek? And I'm like, yeah, like, I'm Blossom Trek. And then I'm like, wait, are you so and so? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. And then obviously we'll, like, say, like, our actual name. And but it's just so funny that we refer each other to our Instagram name
Yeah.
instead of, like, our actual name. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's so much fun, like, being able to see who's behind the wheel, and who's doing, like, what on their Crosstrek, or their STIs, or their Outbacks, or their Forsters. So it's always so nice to be able to put a face to who's behind the wheel.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a meetup tomorrow night with some people here in Houston. So it'll be like
Oh,
my
nice.
first Subie meetup. Yeah, I'm excited about it because
Yeah.
it's been 4.5 months and I haven't met anybody. I mean, I see all these people like in California and
Mm-hmm.
Washington and other places going on trail runs together, and other like out in San Antonio and Austin, and I just haven't had a chance to meet up with anybody. So I kind of put this together so that we can get to meet each other, because I don't think anybody that
Yeah.
is going to be there has ever met each other. So that'll be fun.
Oh, wow. Do they have Instagram pages? Like,
Yeah.
them?
Yep. Yeah, they're
Oh,
people that I've
nice.
been connected with for a while. So it's Chunky Roo is
Okay.
one of them, and then Electrek, and then Chaotic Blue Boo. They're all in the Houston
Oh,
area. Yeah, so that'll be fun.
nice. Yeah, definitely.
So what would you say that your favorite part of owning a Subaru is, and then your favorite part of being part of the Subaru community?
Favorite part is definitely the community. Just being able to, you know, talk to some of the people, and having them being so welcoming, and allowing just to, to be able to ask questions and them answer them without no hesitation or, being upset because I don't know. Just, there's, again, so welcoming, and definitely, stay for them, and, the people, they're just so nice and outgoing, and, just the community alone is just, like we're so new at this that, again, we don't expect anything, but
Yeah.
they're just pouring and pouring on like their knowledge. And again, I love to learn, so, I might not know the terms for some of these things, but I'm so happy that, some of these folks, they don't care. They're not like, well, she's not a car person, she should know. They're just so about like helping and being like, like, it's okay, you don't have to know the proper term to it. So
The community is awesome, but I remember
mm-hmm.
like seeing all these challenges, and I was like, what are these challenges people are doing? I don't get it. Like, I don't know what's going on. So it took me a while to get it. Because like,
Yeah.
I'm still relatively new at it, but I'm learning, and that's
Mm-hmm.
part of the fun. And yeah, and you're right that everybody is just so welcoming and helpful with
Mm-hmm.
any questions or us trying to learn new things.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part of owning your car then, aside from the
My
community?
favorite part of owning my car, just the safety features, honestly. Even after us going and doing overlanding and doing all that we do onto the car, I got it because of, just safety features. It has the eyesight, and it's so reliable. I just, honestly, I mean, from driving a Honda Accord and seeing the damage of just like, what happens when you rear end someone, and not even at a high speed, but just, like going at like maybe, I don't know, I think I was doing like 24. Just seeing the
Oh, wow.
damage on like that car, I was just so blown away. And, obviously, thankfully, and thank God I'm not like, saying from previous accidents on my cross track, but I'm just saying, like, it's so nice to have a reliable car that, even if you're not fully paying attention, your eyesight can turn on and like, brake for you and like hit the brake for you. And so, um, just the safety and just how reliable it is.
Yeah. Is there anything like else that you want to say or share before we end this thing?
uh, no.
Okay. Well, I've really enjoyed talking to you, and I'm glad that we were able to get you on here and talk to somebody else that's relatively new, because that's cool. It's
Mm-hmm.
nice to get somebody that hasn't been here for a really long time and is still learning the way that I am, and
Mm-hmm.
another West Coaster. So that's
Yeah,
nice. So thank you.
definitely.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to do it.
No, it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you again for doing this.
You're welcome. And, so I hope you have a good night, and we will definitely keep in touch, and, we'll see um, how you like this when it comes out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited.
Good. Me too. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Hey, there we go. We got another episode in. Hope everybody enjoyed it. I know I was really touched by the story that she was telling about her mom and how her car really helped get her through that period of time, and how her daughters got to see her be strong and move forward and handle all of that. That was really nice of her to share that information. So, um, if you really enjoy this podcast, if you are able to rate and review, like on Apple Podcast, if you listen via Apple Podcast, please rate and review. If you listen on some other platform that allows you to do that, please do that there as well. And keep sending in the comments, keep sharing the podcast episodes, and just keep supporting the show. Really, really enjoy and am very passionate about doing this, and I can tell that everybody is passionate about sharing their stories and sharing the episodes. So just want to really, really thank you very, very much for all of your support, and we will see you next week.